Hi, welcome to the video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy, and comment your thoughts and opinions on the stories. Let's get started. Am I the antagonist for screaming at my mom for destroying my swimsuit? I'm 17F. I have really strict parents. Like really strict. I can't have fun strict. Think life 360. Nanny net until I was 16. Checks my banking history strict. I don't know why they're like this. My mom is way stricter than my dad. But my dad is really manipulated by her. I was meant to be going on a school trip because I graduated. It was organized by students, and it was meant to be to a water park. Since the venue is family friendly, there's strict rules about what sort of bathing suits we can wear. The one I had was bordering too small, but it just about met the requirements. But it was nice, and I liked it. My mom was mad about something when she came home from work today, so me and my sister were pretty much avoiding her, but also trying to keep the house borderline spotless. I did the dishes after dinner, and I left a pot to soak because it had a lot of gunk stuck to it. I didn't tell my mom, because why would I? She called me into the kitchen. She was throwing an adult tantrum over it, screaming, calling me lazy, asking me how I'll ever hold a job down or raise kids of my own. Then she grabbed the swimsuit that was on the indoor clothes line and a scissors and cut it in half, clean down the middle. I don't even know how she managed that. I decided to throw my own tantrum and started screaming at her and told her this is now the 13th school trip she's banged me from or stopped me from going to somehow. I called her an uptight bitch and asked her who pissed in her cornflakes this morning. I've left the house for the night. I didn't even bring my charger with me, and she's been blowing up my phone. My sister rang me and said mom is mad, and so is our dad, because I yelled at her. This is the first time I've ever reacted in this way, and my sister thinks I was wrong, and clearly so do my parents. Am I the antagonist? Now for the top comments. Were huge not the a-hole. As the child of Asian parents, I can straight up understand the feeling of being verbally abused. For me, it got better over time, but your parents are on another level. Insulting a child, and especially diminishing their confidence by taunting them, is just an R move. Once again, not the a-hole, and stay away from these abusive parents. AITA, this is my first time commenting on this subreddit. Thank you all for the upvotes and all the awards. Hi, I believe I have a similar experience as I'm also Asian, haha lol. Unfortunately, I have no coins to give you an award, but I would give you silver or gold if I could. Apologies, editing, because I see that I may have helped you receive an award lol. To further bolster my status as wingman, someone give him/her platinum or Turnian all-powerful award. NTA 13th. I hate to say this, but from an outside perspective your mom is abusive opus. The fact that, just because she's mad, you and your sister instinctively do everything you can to make sure the house stays spotless is not normal. Destroying your property over a soaking pot no less is not normal. Your mom needs psychiatric help, and you and your sister need to get out as soon as you turn 18. AITA, thank you guys for all the upvotes. AITA 2, thanks for the award kind stranger. AITA 3, holy shit, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Yup, every single year, I almost went on one. She cancelled that the day before because the cat broke a vase. That's not being strict. That's abuse. Will you be able to move when you're 18? If so, get out as soon as you can. Am I the antagonist for refusing to wear the dress my dad's future wife wants me to? I've, 25F, had several plastic surgeries over the years. I don't look model plastic like, but I do look good. My dad's 48 male STB wife Jocelyn, 50F, is against plastic surgeries. She has never been directly rude at me, but she has made comments over the years to make clear that she hates and disapproves them. It also doesn't help that 2 of my most expensive surgeries were paid by my dad as day gifts. Now, I'm a bridesmaid at their wedding. I was about to say no when I found out that this was a special requirement from my dad, since Jocelyn's own son will be a groomsman. So I decided to say yes, put on a smile, and do pretty much whatever she wanted. Instead of going dress shopping, she's encouraging us to wear something that we already own and goes along with her own dress. She gave us 3 colors: lilac, olive green and beige. As soon as she said that, I knew what I was wearing. I have this beautiful olive green dress with a turtleneck and big sleeves with the lettuce stitch. It shows a bit of skin on the back but nothing too scandalous. However, since there's already bad blood between us, I decided to keep it safe. Yesterday I went to their house and showed the dress to Jocelyn to get her approval. She said it was cute, but that I didn't need to worry because she had something from me and, with all due respect, proceed to pull the most ugly lilac dress I've ever seen. She asked me to try it on and I agreed. I looked like a pencil. I looked like a pencil with no shape, and she was delighted. I just said sorry, but I can't wear this. She asked why, and I just said it just wasn't for me. I asked if I could show her how my dress looked on me, and she agreed reluctantly. I tried it on and it's so cute, but she hated it. She accused me of trying to take the spotlight, and that I should just wear what she wants me. I said no, that we could try some more of my dresses, but I wasn't wearing anything of hers. She immediately went to my dad, and he sided with me, saying that it was just a dress, and that her was more beautiful, and it is. She has the most amazing dress I've ever seen, but she accused me of being enough or not giving in, and IDK. Am I? Info. I mentioned my surgeries because is the reason why she's so against me. She has admitted that is shitty of her, but that if I didn't have them our relationship would probably be different. I thought that was important because otherwise people would ask why she is this way. AITA. I sent Jocelyn a text saying I'll be stepping out of the BM role and I'll be just there for my dad. She called me an hour again and said that she'll choose my dress either way because it's her day and she won't let me ruin it. I'll go talk to my dad when we both are out of work. Now for the top comments. NTA, the fact that you have conflicts, but she happened to have a dress she wants you to wear despite the party being expected to source their own indicates malice to me. Unless you are concealing details about your dress, her object is to make you look bad, or she has self-esteem issues with her appearance. Most things about dad's new wife just scream insecurities. It's a good thing that Op probably doesn't live with them, because that would be a nightmare to deal with on a daily basis. Said that she'll choose my dress either way because it's her day and she won't let me ruin it. Your dad should run now. Yep, because damn, a woman jealous of the daughter of her BF is bad, but when the daughter is half her age it is worse. Am I the antagonist for showing my missing eye to the new teacher after he told me my bangs are disrespectful? I had an accident when I was a baby and I lost my left eye. I don't have an eye socket I could put a fake eye in. It's just normal skin and some scars on a big patch of my face. They reconstructed my face with a later surgery this way. The right side and the bottom half of my face is completely normal. I have big side bangs that hide the left side of my face, so I don't freak anyone out and I don't get weird looks. I've been going to the same school since I was 5, so the teachers and the kids know about it. We got a new teacher this week. He started by asking us to go around and introduce ourselves. When it got to me, he was rude and asked me, do your parents know you come to school looking like this? It's extremely disrespectful. Fix your bangs. I want to see your face. So I obeyed and tucked my bangs behind my ear, showing the left side of my face. He gasped. His face turned red. My classmates laughed and he told me that I can let my bangs down. Later that day, my head teacher came to me to scold me. She told me I was wrong to shock the new teacher and I should have just told him about it. Did I do anything wrong? I just obeyed his orders. It's not my fault he ended up not wanting to look at my face. Am I the antagonist? Now for the top comments. NTA 1000X. You followed his orders. Not your fault you only have one eye. Plus, if you told him I'm missing an eye, we all know his teacher instinct would be to have you prove it anyway. LMAO. Exactly. This teacher was rude AF. I despise educators who use their position of authority to bully students. And yes, intentionally insulting a student's appearance in front of their peers the way he did was being a bully. He was an R, and that resulted in him being embarrassed. The head teacher is also an R for trying to reprimand Op so simply existing. Seriously. Fuck the first teacher for complaining to the head teacher. and fuck the head teacher for shaming up for their appearance, reprimanding them for showing their own face in public. What cruel, ignorant, entitled assholes. I feel like the media would have a field day with this bullying ass school. NTA, if the new teacher rebuked you publicly for acting disrespectfully, it was on you to rebuke him publicly by complying with his request. Also, consider taking your story to r/malicious compliance. I agree with your judgment, and that they should consider taking their story to malicious compliance. I thought of that sub immediately when I heard this story. Am I the antagonist for refusing to give my uncle's wife my house address? I, 21 male, am a final year college student and I have been mostly busy with my BSc project this year. I have a relationship with my uncle's family that came as a result of me staying there during my gap year before uni. In my early years in uni, I spent 4 or 5 weekends in his home. My school is 1 hour drive away from his place. My uncle's wife used to be caring before she had her own kids, but became all about her kids after she had them. I get served the worst part of the food, and I wasn't allowed to watch TV. Each weekend I went there. I did dishes and cleaned the whole house. I was basically the housekeeper. In my 3rd year, I decided to stop going there, and I've had issues with her since then. She gaslights me, says I don't care about my cousins and I should relate with her family because they're the closest family member to me. Early this year, she gaslighted me into coming around to babysit. About 2 weeks ago, she called me on a Tuesday and demanded that I come to her house the next day since my school is on a break. I told her I couldn't because I needed to catch up on my project and attend to other things that need my attention. She said that I'd been using my project as an excuse since forever for not coming to her house, and if I don't want to come, I should just own it. I told her I still couldn't come. She asked me to send my house address, which she has never asked for in my 4 years in school. I said okay, and we ended the call. 2 days later she sent a text saying she'd not gotten my address. I sent one back asking politely for why she needed my house address. She didn't send a reply and instead reported me to everybody. 85% of my family thinks I'm the ass. Am I the antagonist? Now for the top comments. NTA, don't give her your address. She is likely to drop your cousins off for you to babysit if she gets a hold of it. If she pulls this, just call the authorities and report abandoned children. NTA at all. This woman is clearly mad she lost her free household help. I'd be more honest or blunt though. Honest in the sense that you could point out exactly why you'd rather stay where you are. Or blunt in the sense that no is a full sentence. Thank you. I'm working on saying an outright no. I would make a very public post on Facebook about all her BS and tell everyone you are more than happy to cut them off if they are on her side, because she is not your mother, not in control of you, and needs to stop. NTA, good luck. Am I the antagonist for making my stepson clean the whole house instead of going to a birthday party? I'm sorry if the post is too long. I want to really explain the situation. If any more info is needed, do ask. I, 39 male, have a 11-year-old daughter and a 12-year-old stepson. They get along well most of the time, but like most kids, they fight and annoy each other. My stepson developed a habit of going into my daughter's room and take things to his room to upset her, like a t-shirt, a favorite pen, a teddy bear, etc. I have told him to stop doing that repeatedly, and told him that each time he does it, he will be punished. The first time after that he took something, he was on trash duty for a week. Next time he had to wash the car. Next time he had to help me mow the lawn, which he hates, etc. He pretty much stopped upsetting my daughter after this. My wife says I'm being too strict, but I told her his behavior is unacceptable and he has to be disciplined. Yesterday was my stepson's best friend's birthday party and my stepson was really happy to go. Very excited about it. A few days before this party, he entered my daughter's room and took her diary. When my daughter found out, she got very upset and told me and my wife about it. My wife suggested we discipline her son by making him wash the dishes at night. I told her this has become a big problem and just washing the dishes isn't nearly enough. We sat both kids down and I explained to my stepson that what he is doing is taking my daughter's stuff without her consent, and that is not okay. Stepson said he just does it to annoy her. I said I know, but he has to stop. He said she annoys him too, like how she always sits in the armchair he likes most. This was the example he gave, and I said that I know that, and she is disciplined for it as well. But what he is doing is worse. I said I know they like each other and are happy to be siblings and are just teasing each other, but this breach of consent needs to stop. He cannot enter her room uninvited, much less enter her room and take things. Stepson then yelled at me, saying that this is his house. My daughter and I moved in with my wife and stepson years ago, and he will enter the room whenever he wants. I told him that's it. He isn't going to the party and will instead clean the house with me and my wife that day. He is obviously upset. My wife says that was an R move from me, but I think it's the only way he will learn. Now for the top comments. It sounds like stepson is feeling resentful that you guys moved into his home without him having any say in the matter and is trying to assert his control over the house. Maybe also feeling unsure of his place. Have you all gone to any family therapy to manage the bumps of blending together? Does stepson get any one-on-one time with his mom without you and your daughter there? Do you have any bonding activities with your stepson to establish a good relationship? Can you get a lock for daughter's door? He needs to learn about boundaries and consent, but punishment alone isn't going to get at any of the underlying issues. If you want this to stop, he needs a better way to express and deal with his feelings about your family. I completely agree the punishment itself is pretty age appropriate, and things like boundaries and actions have consequences is an important lesson for kids around this age. But if he doesn't dislike his new sibling or have a habit of being malicious or act out at school, there's likely something deeper going on that needs to be discussed and addressed. Having a school psychologist or private counselor check in and give him a space to speak freely might be what the kid needs. NTA. But start to teach him what consent is and insist on it until he learned. Because kids who don't learn to respect consent can become adults who don't respect consent in other things too. Like sex, for example. I know it is a big stretch, and he probably won't become a bad person. He is just a kid testing boundaries. But these bad adults stems from something too, and were kids once. So really insist on consent. Not necessarily a big stretch. I know I'm only talking anecdotally here. My siblings and I annoyed each other endlessly, but not once would we cross the boundary into another's room without permission, let alone actually take things. It is more than disrespectful, it is a small violation. As you say, it is consent that is the major issue here. Am I the antagonist for disrespecting my future in-laws and their religion? I'm on mobile and typing this out on my 15-minute work break, so sorry for any typos and weird formatting. I, 27F, am engaged to my partner, 30 male. It's relevant to note that my husband is Caucasian and I'm Indigenous Native American. I'm fine identifying as either. A situation has developed over the last few weeks with my partner's family, so we are planning 2 wedding ceremonies. A Catholic ceremony for his family and a ceremony from my culture for my family. My parents will be attending the Catholic ceremony and my future in-laws are invited to the cultural ceremony. My partner has been extremely helpful, understanding and patient during the planning process. The problem started when we met with the church folks to go over some ceremony basics. The priest gave us a rundown of the words he will be saying, and I asked if we could edit them a little. Long story short, my ask has resulted in the priest father refusing to do the ceremony and my in-laws taking back their blessing of our marriage because I'm disrespectful to them, their son, their church and their religion. I'll be honest, I have very little knowledge of the inner workings of Catholicism aside from what I've googled, and am at a loss over why there has been such a strong reaction. We changed a few things in my culture's wedding ceremony for my husband so that he is comfortable, and that was completely fine with my tribal leaders. I use this example of me accommodating my partner during my cultural ceremony and I expected the same understanding from them. Their reaction was not nice, so I've stopped all communication with them for the last few days. I'm not even sure what's happening anymore, and I feel like I might have escalated things when I didn't need to. Like, I'm not Catholic, so maybe I should have not asked to change their ceremony and let it go. But also, words are power in my culture and we don't just toss around promise vows like they don't mean anything. I also know my parents would not like the wording of the vow the priest expected me to say, so that's a major reason I asked for some changes. My partner has been upset and has not really speaking to me, his family or anyone. IDK y'all. Let me know if I overreacted and I should just apologize, because this whole mess has me stressed and anxious about what will happen. Now for the top comments. Info. What was the change? There were a few parts I wanted to change a little. The promise to support and follow the guidance of my husband. I wanted to add this into his vow too, since my tribe is matrilineal and the women are the guiders/leaders. I don't mind the actual vow, I just want him to make the same one too. The vow to raise our children under God and bring them up under Christ. I wanted to change that to raise our children under our Creator and bring them up with love, respect, compassion, faith, understanding, spirituality, balance, peace, and empathy. So I'm guessing this biggest problem is the second half. It's a big thing for a lot of Catholics that children will be raised in the Catholic faith. That caused my uncle and his fiancée to break up. She was insistent that all future children be brought up Catholic. I suggest you and your future husband sit down and have a very in-depth discussion on expectations of future children and how they'll be raised. Even if he's not a strict Catholic and he's fine not raising them as such, his family clearly isn't, so you need to be sure he's taking your side here. NTA, but if your future in-laws are this kind of Catholic, you are not in for a good time. You are going to have a come to Jesus talk, lol, with your future husband, because this is not the last time his parents are going to be pulling stuff like this for sure. All power to you, and I hope it all works out. Yep. And any grandchildren not baptized may not be acknowledged. Please get this figured out with your fiancé before continuing.